You wake up at 6:47 a.m. Not because you wanted to. Because your phone buzzed. Because the alarm knows you have somewhere to be. You silence it, lie there for exactly 43 seconds, and then you get up. Because that's what you do. That's what you've always done. And somewhere, in an apartment you've never seen, in a city you might never visit, someone else is still asleep. Their phone isn't buzzing. Nothing is demanding them anywhere. And their bank account grew by $340 while they slept. You probably already know this is possible. You've seen it. You've read about it. Maybe you've even tried it. But here's what nobody tells you: the money isn't the thing that changes first. It's everything else. Right now, your relationship with money is transactional. You trade hours for dollars. You show up, you perform, you get paid. The cycle feels natural because you grew up watching everyone around you live inside it. You have a job that pays $58,000 a year. Or maybe $72,000. Or maybe $41,000. The number doesn't matter as much as the structure. You work, money arrives, you spend it, you work again. Rent is $1,400. Car payment is $387. Subscriptions, groceries, gas, it adds up to something that keeps you just close enough to the edge that saving feels slow. You're not broke. But you're not free either. And deep down, you know the difference. You've thought about passive income. You've watched videos. You've read threads. But something always stops you at the execution stage. Maybe it's time. Maybe it's doubt. Maybe it's the quiet belief that people who make money while they sleep are just different from you, luckier, smarter, earlier. That belief is the first thing that has to break. Because passive income isn't a product. It isn't an app or a course or a lucky investment. It's a machine. A machine you build with your own hands that eventually runs without you. And like any machine, it starts as nothing. Raw parts. No movement. No output. Just potential sitting there, waiting for someone to actually build it. Most people never build the machine. They buy books about machines. They watch people operate machines. They plan to build one someday. But someday is a full-time job in itself, and it pays nothing. The ones who change their lives don't start with a better idea. They start with a different relationship to building. They stop waiting for perfect conditions and start constructing under imperfect ones. This is what that actually looks like. Level 1 starts at 0. You have a skill. Everyone does. Maybe you're good at graphic design. Maybe you understand Excel better than anyone in your office. Maybe you've been cooking the same regional recipes your whole life, and you genuinely know things most people would pay to learn. The skill isn't impressive to you because you've had it so long it feels ordinary. That's the first trap. Familiarity kills perceived value. You take that skill and you do something small with it. A Notion template. A PDF guide. A Lightroom preset pack. You spend 3 weekends on it. You price it at $17. You put it on Gumroad and tell exactly nobody. First month, 0 sales. You assume it doesn't work. But what actually happened is you built the first part of the machine, and then walked away before connecting the engine. The people who keep going past this point discover something quietly important. The machine requires work before it produces anything. Sustained effort. In the dark. With no guarantee. With no applause. Most people can't sustain that. That's not a bug. That's the filter. Level 2. Somewhere between $200 and $800 a month. This is the most dangerous stage, not because it's hard, but because it's almost comfortable. Enough to feel real. Not enough to change anything. You've got one product that converts. Maybe a small email list. Maybe an Etsy shop with 12 consistent buyers. Maybe a blog pulling affiliate commissions that cover your phone bill. You check your Stripe dashboard more than you check your texts. A $34 notification arrives at 2 p.m. on a Tuesday. You feel something shift slightly in your chest. Not excitement exactly. Recognition. This is working. But you're still inside the old structure. The job. The alarm. The 43 seconds of lying still before you stand up again. Here's what changes at this level, not your life, but your vision. You've seen the machine make money without you watching it. You know it's real now. Not theoretically. Actually. That knowing changes how you think about time. It changes what feels urgent, and what doesn't. You start protecting your evenings differently. You start saying no to things that used to feel optional to refuse. Your identity is beginning to shift. Even if nobody around you can see it yet. Level 3. $1,000 to $3,500 a month. This is where the machine starts to breathe on its own. The product sells. The email sequence runs. The content, YouTube, a newsletter, a podcast, works as a distribution engine you built once, and it keeps pulling people in. You're not viral. You don't need to be. You need consistency. And you've figured out that consistency is just discipline with a longer time horizon. Something strange starts happening socially at this level. You're calmer. Less reactive to workplace drama. Because you know, not hope, know, that the job is becoming optional. You haven't quit yet. But the math is changing and you can feel it. $2,200 a month covers your car payment, your subscriptions, your groceries. If you had to, you could cut your hours. You don't yet. But you could. That possibility changes how you carry yourself. And then you see something about the machine that most people never see from the outside. It doesn't care about your motivation. It doesn't respond to your excitement or your fear. It runs based on what you built. If you built it well, it runs. If you built it poorly, it slows. Your emotional state is irrelevant to its output. That's uncomfortable for a while. Then it becomes liberating. Level 4. $5,000 to $12,000 a month. Your life structurally changes. Not dramatically. Not overnight. But the old structure, the transactional structure, is no longer the foundation. It's a layer you're slowly lifting off. You've replaced your rent. You've replaced your car payment. The income covers your baseline life. Maybe you've quit the job. Maybe you've gone part-time. Maybe you've started subcontracting parts of your operation, a virtual assistant, an editor, a fulfillment service, so the machine scales without you doing more hours. Time is no longer the constraint. The machine is the constraint. And that realization breaks something inside the old way of thinking. You used to think more effort meant more reward. That's true in a job. It is not true in a system. In a system, better architecture means more reward. You can work hard on a bad system and produce very little. You can build a good system once and collect from it for years. Most people spend their entire lives optimizing their effort. The people at this level have started optimizing their systems. Level 5. $15,000 to $30,000 a month. You are no longer the operator. You are the architect. The machine runs. You adjust it. You feed it occasionally. You make decisions about its direction. But you are not inside it every day pulling levers, answering emails, creating content manually. You have people for that. Not because you're rich in the old sense. Because you understand leverage. Paying someone $2,000 a month to handle something that generates $8,000 a month isn't a cost. It's a design choice. Your relationship with money has completely changed. You don't think in paychecks. You think in systems. In monthly recurring revenue. In conversion rates and customer lifetime value. And something else happens at this level that's harder to describe. You start to see other people's relationship with time differently. Not with judgment. With a kind of quiet recognition. You see someone stressed about a performance review and you remember when that was the whole world. You see someone excited about a $3,000 bonus and you understand why. You were there. But you also see the structure that creates the bonus is the same structure that limits what's possible. You don't say anything. There's nothing useful to say. Level 6. $30,000 to $50,000 a month. The game has changed completely. You are not working harder than someone making $50,000 a year. You might actually be working less. The difference is architectural. Decisions made months or years ago created compounding systems. And compounding doesn't care about time in the human sense. It only responds to structure. Your problems are different now. Not survival problems. Optimization problems. Tax structure. Asset protection. Investment allocation. Which machines to keep running, which ones to shut down, which new ones to build. You look back at level 1 and see it clearly now. The people who never made it past 0 weren't less intelligent. They weren't less capable. Their window of sustained effort before needing evidence of progress was just too short. When the machine produced nothing, they stopped. They called it not for them. They went back to trading hours. You kept building when there was nothing to show. That's the only real difference. Here's what the machine actually is, underneath all of it. It's not about money. Not really. It's about time sovereignty. Every hour you work because you have to is an hour extracted from you by a structure you didn't design. The machine is your attempt to design a different structure. One that works for you instead of the other way around. And once you see that, once you really see it, you cannot unsee it. The job doesn't look the same. The routine doesn't feel the same. The alarm at 6:47 a.m. carries a different weight. It's no longer neutral. It's evidence. Evidence of a structure you're either inside or working to exit. Most people stay inside their whole lives. Not because they're lazy. Because the structure is designed to feel like the only structure. Everything around them, their family, their peers, their financial systems, reinforces the trade of time for money as the natural order. It isn't natural. It's constructed. And what is constructed can be reconstructed. There's a moment, most people who build the machine can point to it, where the passive income number passes the active income number for the first time. It's not loud. There's no celebration. You check the dashboard. You look at the bank statement. You do the math quietly. And then you just sit with it. Because it's not the number that matters. It's what the number represents. A version of you that kept building when it made no sense. That kept feeding the machine when it produced nothing. That chose long-term architecture over short-term comfort, in small decisions that nobody saw and nobody applauded. The machine didn't notice your sacrifice. It just ran better because of it. You are sitting with this now. Maybe you're at 0. Maybe you made $34 and you're not sure if it's worth continuing. Maybe you're at $2,000 a month and it feels close but not close enough. The machine has no opinion about where you are. It doesn't respond to your doubt or your timeline. It only responds to what you build. Somewhere tonight, someone is uploading their first digital product. They've told nobody. They've done the math nervously on a napkin. They don't know if it will work. In 3 years, they'll be at level 5. The machine is already started. It just doesn't know it yet. And tomorrow morning, an alarm will go off at 6:47 a.m. For someone. The only question is, what does that alarm mean to you when it does?